Do not take Elon's money if you live in Wisconsin. He will pay you $100 to buy your vote. I'm not kidding.
Paying people to vote for Schimmel.
If you take that money, you might just be legalizing grape.
Take it from a sheriff.
Because this is the Republican candidate, Brad. When he was the Attorney General of Wisconsin, he refused to test any of their grape kits. He said they didn't have enough money, so Biden gave them millions of dollars. And after a few years, people went looking at the 6,800 grape kits. Brad tested 9 of them.
Rapists walked free.
You might be wondering where the millions of dollars went. You see these commemorative Brad coins? Kick ass every day. That's Brad's slogan. Brad spent taxpayer dollars to mint these.
Elon Musk is supporting me.
So if you could please go to the link in my bio and donate to Judge Susan Crawford.
Elon Musk is spending $1.6 million in Wisconsin. Why? Because there's an election.
I love Aaron and all of the news that he brings to us, but there's one piece of information he's missing in that news update. I live in Wisconsin, so let me fill you in a little bit more on what's happening with that election. If you don't know about how Tesla runs their dealerships, they are a factory to consumer dealership. Now, here in Wisconsin, there are laws that prohibit any dealership for being factory to consumer. That is why Wisconsin has no Tesla dealerships. We have some showrooms, but no dealerships. And Elon does not like this. In fact, he is bringing a case to the Supreme Court to try to change this, because he wants to convert some of the showrooms that we have in Madison and Milwaukee into factory to consumer dealerships. And isn't it all just so coincidental that if he backs someone, that they might owe him some favors if they get onto the Supreme Court where he's trying to get his case heard? That is why Elon Musk is so invested in the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. It has nothing to even do with politics or the president. It has everything to do with him getting more money, because he would, in theory, be able to sell more of his trash cars. Because the richer just want to keep getting richer. So if you live in Wisconsin and really don't want to support billionaires pulling stunts like this, vote Susan Crawford for Supreme Court on April 1st.
Susan Crawford, who is running against Elon's puppet Brad Schimmel in the Wisconsin Supreme Court election, has now pulled to the lead in the last 2 polls. And MAGA is freaking out. Now, it's not a time to get too excited, because this election's on April 1st, and Susan Crawford is going to need every single vote. But it does show that there's a momentum happening around the country, and we may be able to stop Elon Musk's courtroom shopping spree before he shows up with the chainsaw and starts passing around giant checks for $1 million to voters like he did in 2024. And Brad Schimmel really needs to lose. This is a guy who said that January 6ers were not given a fair shot, whatever the hell that means. He's a guy who did absolutely nothing during the fake elector scheme in 2024. And he's the guy who said that he would act as Donald Trump's support system. Meanwhile, Susan Crawford is the real deal. She's a legal expert. She believes strongly in a woman's right to choose. And unlike her opponent, she doesn't hate democracy. And she's beating a billionaire. So if you're watching this right now and you're thinking, I wish someone would do something, you're someone. So if you live in Wisconsin, please knock on doors and vote and get everyone you know to vote. And if you don't live in Wisconsin, then call your friends in Wisconsin and get them to vote. And if you have no friends like me, then donate. Because Susan Crawford needs to win so that we can send a message that the Wisconsin Supreme Court is not for sale. And neither is our democracy.
And I'll just point out that Tesla filed a lawsuit against the state of Wisconsin within days of the inauguration and within days of Elon Musk beginning to spend millions of dollars, mostly in attack ads against me and in paid canvassers who are going door to door in Wisconsin saying things like, or handing out leaflets that say things like support the Trump agenda. Elon Musk's interest in this race is really clear, and it's not because he cares about people in the state of Wisconsin.
You can't just try to influence every goddamn election and expect us to let you get away with it.
First, you spend $200 million trying to get Trump elected because you know you were going to run his ass because his ass is a fucking puppet.
No puppet. No puppet.
Yeah, bitch, shut the fuck up. You a puppet. And he got even more bold and tried to influence the German elections, supporting the neo-Nazi party, using not only millions of dollars to try to prop them up, but then you use the Twitter algorithm to try to only boost accounts and false information that would support the neo-Nazis. And now you're trying to influence the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. Those of you who don't know, right now the Supreme Court in Wisconsin has a race. If Susan wins, the Supreme Court will stay liberal. If Brad wins, the Supreme Court goes MAGA. And we know this because Elon Musk is spending millions of dollars behind Brad. So why does Elon Musk care so much? Well, here it is. Wisconsin is one of the most important presidential swing states. And some landmark decisions that Supreme Court will have to oversee will have to do with abortion, union rights, election law, and congressional redistricting that could come in an influence to the 2028 election. These motherfuckers will stop at nothing to make sure that they hold on to power. And by the way, just to give you some insight as to what they're doing, they created a fake organization called Progress 2028. They're sending fake messages to supporters saying that Judge Susan Crawford, who is backed by Democrats, is a progressive champion who will stand up for immigrants, defend Planned Parenthood, and promote a justice system that gives criminals second chances. Also that they can scare conservative and MAGA people, and oh my God, she's gonna be for those Latino criminals. Once you dig into the records, you see that Progress 2028 is a fictitious name. And the real records show that the ads that appear on Facebook and Instagram and in text messages to the voters are underwritten by Building America's Future. That's a national conservative group that counts Musk among its biggest donors. This same organization did the same shit to Kamala Harris. The group began running fake ads made to look as though they came from Democrats. They falsely claimed Harris supported policies such as eliminating gas-powered vehicles and giving voting rights to immigrants living in the U.S. illegally. This was also the same PAC that pushed misinformation in Michigan and Pennsylvania during the election, specifically about Kamala Harris's stance on Israel. The ads characterized her position differently in targeted messages to Arab Americans and Jewish voters. So they basically lied. In Jewish communities, they sent out messages that Kamala Harris was for Hamas and the terrorist organizations. And then in pro-Palestinian, pro-Arab communities, they sent out messages saying that Kamala Harris was very pro-Israel and was going to continue the G-side. All to spread misinformation and target specific messages to voters. He's doing the same shit with the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. Like, comment, repost, do all the types of engagements because we need to get this message out to the Wisconsin people. Make sure that you vote for Judge Susan Crawford because this motherfucker is going to take us back to the medieval ages.
Elon Musk is nothing more than a spoiled brat who thinks he can buy whatever he wants, and that includes the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Pouring millions of dollars into the Brad Schimmel campaign because he wants somebody who will kiss his and Trump's ass rather than somebody who's going to fight for the people of this state. You don't have to believe me, believe Brad Schimmel, who has said he wants to be Trump's support network here in Wisconsin. Personally, I like my elected officials to have a backbone, to stand up to the billionaires and not cater to them. And it's not like we don't have a history with Brad Schimmel to know exactly what we're getting. This is a man who, while Attorney General, couldn't be bothered to test the grape kits of thousands of people who had been victims in our state. He doesn't care about the people here any more than Elon does. So why would we ever want to elect the guy he's backing? That's why I support Susan Crawford, who has a track record of proving she cares about the people of the state. But yeah, all the millions of dollars Elon's pumping into this election are impacting it. It's closer than it ever should be. So if you can afford to donate even $1, I will put that information in my bio. Most importantly, we need to vote. And April 1st is less than a week away. It is the day when we can let Elon know without a shadow of a doubt, Wisconsin isn't for sale.
Musk is so arrogant that he is even intervening in a Supreme Court election right here in the state of Wisconsin. Against a candidate who has the very, very extreme idea that maybe women should be able to control their own bodies, not the government. Now, whatever your view may be on this Supreme Court election, I think what everybody, no matter what your position should be, should make it clear to the wealthiest person on earth that he cannot buy an election here in Wisconsin. And I want you to think about what that means. If this guy can intervene in a Supreme Court election in one state, you tell me what mayor's race, what governor's race, what Senate race he cannot buy. So we have got to deal with this corrupt campaign finance system.
We have some big news right now. Elon Musk is spending $1.6 million in Wisconsin. Why? Because there's an election on April 1st that could decide the future of Wisconsin's Supreme Court and Wisconsin's congressional districts. This election is between Judge Susan Crawford, who is supported by the Democrats, versus Brad Schimmel, who is supported by the Republicans and Elon Musk. Now, a lot of you guys have asked for me to talk about this, so here's the status of the race. This race will be on April 1st. No, it's not an April Fool's joke. It's an actual election. It's really the first major election in the post-Trump era. And there are serious concerns, both ethical and otherwise, about Elon Musk spending 7 figures in this race in an effort to help Wisconsin Republicans secure this seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Now, some folks have asked where you can learn more about this race and how to support, for example, Judge Crawford. I threw a link in my bio. You can go check that out if you want. But this race will very well be the bellwether this year. So I will provide you updates as soon as we get more information about the race. Go to the link in my bio, go check out more information. And as always, follow on for all the news you need to know about.
Elon Musk bought the presidency. Now he wants to buy Wisconsin. On April 1st, Wisconsin will vote to fill an open seat on the state Supreme Court, with the court's majority up for grabs. Former Wisconsin Attorney General Brad Schimmel is facing current Circuit Court Judge Susan Crawford. Schimmel is an anti-choice, right-wing extremist who sued to overturn the Affordable Care Act and, as Wisconsin Attorney General, delayed testing thousands of rape kits. So far, Elon Musk's America PAC has spent $7.3 million supporting Schimmel, while another group funded by Musk and other GOP donors has spent $5.8 million attacking Crawford. Musk and his fellow oligarchs know Wisconsin is a key swing state, and its court is the key to gerrymandering the state, suppressing votes, bashing unions, and banning abortions. Musk's Tesla also recently sued Wisconsin over a state law that hurts its bottom line. Judge Susan Crawford, by contrast, is an experienced litigator who has personally defended reproductive freedom and workers' rights, which Musk despises. If you live in Wisconsin, you can cast your ballot by Election Day, April 1st.
Oh, dude. I'm just going to keep talking about this election until we win because this is just getting ridiculous. For those of you who don't know, the first major election in the new administration is on April 1st, and it's for an open Supreme Court seat in Wisconsin. And Elon Musk, fresh off the success of buying the presidency and turning Donald Trump into his 4-year-old's companion, wants to buy the seat for himself so he can double down on the MAGA agenda, because the courts are the place where federal government overreach, like he is doing at Doge, can actually be stopped. The far right wants to lock in gerrymandered districts and have a court that will overturn election results they don't like. But Elon wants to make Trump, and by extension himself, untouchable. Oh, and he has an upcoming case in Wisconsin that he wants to make sure Tesla gets a successful ruling. So, totally above board. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. This is what happens when a country allows billionaires to spend unlimited money on elections. They don't stop. They do everything they can to continue to rig the game for themselves. Thanks to Elon, this Supreme Court race is now the most expensive court race in U.S. history, with close to $60 million already being spent. Musk is even funding a group offering Wisconsin voters $100 each to sign a petition that opposes activist judges, implying that Susan Crawford, the candidate running against his choice, Brad Schimmel, is somehow corrupt. Yeah, okay. Susan Crawford, the woman who put herself through college, who became a lawyer and then a judge to fight for those who couldn't fight for themselves, a value she'd learned growing up with her special needs sister. Susan Crawford, the woman who prides herself on hard work and common sense and honesty, is the activist, not Brad, who was literally quoted saying he wanted to be part of Donald Trump's support network. Brad, who told donors he would do anything for money, and as a judge, ruled for the defense in a child pornography case after the defense donated to his campaign. I don't care how many signatures are on that petition Elon is paying people to sign. You tell me which one of those candidates sounds more like they would rule on ideology and not evidence. This election is so important because with all the destruction and chaos going on in the country right now, we cannot miss a single opportunity to prove that we support the rule of law and believe in the Constitution and want fair and just courts with judges who can't be bought. Elon is buying, and Brad is selling, but Susan is running. I've attached a link where possible, and I've included one in my bio, so you can reject this attempted hostile takeover of a state Supreme Court and support Susan Crawford with your donations, and if you're in Wisconsin, with your vote. Early voting runs until March 30th, and Election Day is April 1st. This is the first chance we have to publicly say no. No. Take your hands off our laws and your money out of our government and your fingers out of our courts, because you are rich, but you are not untouchable. Check the link. Help send that message.
I am about to leave Wisconsin to go home to my parents for a week, but before I do that, you know what I gotta do? I gotta drop off my absentee ballot because Elon Musk is trying to buy the Supreme Court seat and trying to get Brad Schimmel elected. And we don't want Brad Schimmel for a lot of reasons, but abortion's on the line if he gets elected. Besides him buddying up with Elon Musk, this man, he let violent offenders roam the streets. Meanwhile, a bunch of rape kit tests were left untested and untouched because of him. Along with that, he went easy on sentences for child predators and handed down light sentences for domestic abusers. We cannot have this man elected to the Supreme Court. It will set us back immensely. For the Wisconsin superintendent, you need to vote for Jill Underly. Brittany Keisner, I believe, is the other one. Trump is cutting $1 billion from Wisconsin school systems. And when asked what she would do about that, she just said, we'll figure it out. That's not a plan, and that is going to affect so many students and teachers, and we cannot have that happening. Voter referendum asking if we should require more photo ID for voters. We want to vote no, because they are trying to make it harder for people who are of color, minorities, older individuals, low-income individuals. They're trying to make it harder for them to vote, and we cannot let that happen. So make sure you get out and vote. Your vote counts. And if you've learned anything from the 2024 election, your vote matters. Every single vote matters. So make sure you go vote. Early voting, absentee ballots, voting in person, go do it. Election day is April 1st. Go do it.
So Elon is about to pull his biggest heist yet, and he's hoping that you're not even paying attention. So we all know that Elon poured $250 million into the presidential race. Well, he's now set his sights on the Wisconsin Supreme Court race on April 1st. He is dumping millions and millions into this election. This is the test case right here, where Elon either gets validated and then moving forward spends billions of dollars to buy literally every seat in the country, effectively owning the entire United States government, or where he realizes that all the money in the world isn't going to allow him to buy our democracy. But Wisconsin is the entire ballgame. Again, if right-wing candidate Brad Schimmel wins, then Elon is going all in everywhere. So we have a chance right now to ensure that that doesn't happen. But it means going all in on Wisconsin and ensuring that Judge Susan Crawford wins this race. So if you want to help get the word out, please donate at the link in the link tree in my bio. Let's promote this race across the entire state of Wisconsin. Let's show that Wisconsin's Supreme Court isn't for sale. Let's protect the state's new maps. Let's protect the state's abortion protections. And let's own the momentum heading into midterms. Again, link in the link tree in my bio. Please help out.
Elon Musk is 1 week away from buying a seat on Wisconsin's Supreme Court. I'm Eliza Orlins, career public defender for 15 years in Manhattan, and we have to talk about the judicial election that just became the most expensive judicial election in U.S. history thanks to Elon Musk. Elon Musk has spent millions and millions of dollars trying to install a right-wing extremist, Brad Schimmel. And why is he trying to do this? Well, because Wisconsin's Supreme Court has the power to decide things like abortion rights, and Brad Schimmel called Wisconsin's 1849 abortion law valid. Wisconsin's Supreme Court also has the power to decide voting rights and potentially overturn elections, as well as districting in a crucial swing state. Wisconsin Democratic Party Chair Ben Wickler put it perfectly. Brad Schimmel is an extreme right-wing politician who has cut shady deals for campaign cash his entire career, and now he has apparently cut the biggest and shadiest deal of his political life, signing on as a loyal foot soldier for the Musk agenda. Musk's shady PAC is spending millions of dollars to buy this seat, and they're already under investigation for violating Wisconsin's election laws. But we can stop them. Election day is 1 week away, and we need to make sure that Susan Crawford wins. This is our first opportunity to beat MAGA at the ballot box since November, and we have to show them what we've got. This will set the tone for every race to come. As goes Wisconsin, so goes the nation. So here's what you can do. You can donate to help Susan Crawford win this election. There is a link in my bio, and we need to help her fight back. 2, if you live in Wisconsin, make sure you have a plan to vote on or before April 1st. And 3, spread the word. Tell every Wisconsin voter that you know. Because if Musk and Trump can buy the courts in Wisconsin, they can do so everywhere. Let's stop them right now. Vote for Judge Susan Crawford and make sure you're following along for more.
And they tell you who they are the first time, motherfucking believe it. This right here is Brad Schimmel, but let me go ahead and zoom in so you can see his face. He's the MAGA Republican running in the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. Here he is in front of an inflatable Trump balloon saying, "Vote Brad Schimmel Supreme Court," at a pro-Trump event. He's telling you exactly how he would vote on landmark Supreme Court cases if they ever came in front of him. If you're gonna tell me, oh, don't judge a book by its cover, that's not what he means. How about we take his actual words? Schimmel tells canvassers he'll be a support network for Trump, and he talked about the election conspiracy, saying that the 2020 election was stolen. And I can't believe that we're saying this in 2025. We know that the 2020 election was not stolen. Trump is just a whiny ass bitch who lost the election. If you're still gonna be like, don't look at the headline, look at the actual quote. Brad said Donald Trump doesn't do this by himself. There has to be a support network around it. They filed over 70 lawsuits against him since he took the oath of office barely a month ago. Yeah, because his fucking ass was breaking the law every single second. He goes on to say over 70 lawsuits to try to stop almost every single thing he's doing because they don't want him to get a win. They're so desperate for him to not get a win that they won't let America have a win. That's what they're doing. The only way they're going to stop that is if the courts stop it. That's the only way to stop this lawfare. So it's clear, he is fucking MAGA. And he has extreme positions like using an 1849 law to try to ban abortion, supporting pardons for violent January 6th insurrectionists, and endorsed debunked 2020 election lies. So it makes sense that Ron Johnson, another Republican, says we have to thank Elon if Brad Schimmel wins the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. Because he's literally spending millions of dollars trying to get Brad to win. And he literally hosted a Twitter space telling us why.
For many reasons, maybe the most consequential is that it will decide the congressional districts, how congressional districts are drawn in Wisconsin.
Elon Musk wants Brad Schimmel to win so that the Wisconsin Supreme Court could be MAGA so that they can overturn election laws and redistrict maps in favor of the Republicans so that they can gain the majorities and start changing shit up for when the elections come around. Like, favorite, repost, share, do all the things to try to get this video to people in Wisconsin so that they can vote for Judge Susan Crawford so that they can end Brad Schimmel's bullshit. And if you want to support her in any way or donate, go to the link in my bio.